Hiya folks, and welcome back to the Raxpack 2. Hello zombie. You are welcome. Last episode, we got a spade. Oh, and someone also pointed out that my shovel was in my tool belt. Well, that's what like a 2-week break will do to you. We started on embers, and we now have ore doubling. But this episode is actually going to be dedicated to starting a build, finally. Very exciting! We're actually going to start a build and start working on it. We're going to build our first crypt for our necropolis. Oh, I'm going to die. Excuse me. Just going to hide behind here. Thank you, skeleton. That actually brings up a really good point. Wow. That skeleton was onto it. I did not expect that at all. So, scaling health. It's a big deal. Excuse me. As you can see. So, that skeleton is doing a lot of damage. And we have no armor. And I really ought to start lighting up these areas, like underneath these trees. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. There we go. No. Will you die? Or at least get out from under that tree and go somewhere else. Fortunately, I don't mind dying a whole bunch. And also, I've kind of like neglected the armor and weapons side of things with scaling health, but we are very, very close to max difficulty in the pack. To explain, it takes 30 hours, real hours, to reach maximum difficulty. And if you're wondering where those 30 hours went over 10 episodes, or close to 10 anyway, it's waiting for things like this to grow, with the server running and me not being idle. That's where the majority of those hours went. Not necessarily playing, but having the server run and me being on. Because it does take into account when you're not moving, and it does take into account when you are not even on the server. But 30 hours of playtime will get you the maximum difficulty in Raxpack 2, which we are very close to, and we're still only using unenchanted iron armor. So if you're having difficulty with scaling health, my biggest hint to you, and because I don't mind dying, basically, but if scaling health is giving you trouble, my honest advice is that you need to focus on armor weapons and making sure areas are lit up. So, for example, shouldn't you be showing me a different number? Well, here we go. There's a different view for this particular mod. Lighting mod, the one that's putting the zeros on the ground. Hello, truck. Which I can't remember how to access, but it shows you the difference between night and day, quite literally. What is spawnable and what isn't. Now, all of this stuff is spawnable at night, but under the trees are still spawnable and safe for monsters during the day. So I'm going to light those up so no skeletons get any big ideas. And I should actually just start lighting up this area in general. Anyway, I've got so majorly sidetracked. Today we're going to be starting on our crypt. Our first crypt. It's going to be the Embers crypt. Where Elucent is buried. I figure I'll because mausoleums and crypts and so on always have plaques dedicated to the person who was buried there. And I figure if we're going to have mod-specific crypts, they should be dedicated to the author of that mod. So Oh, hello, Rogue. That's my kitty. He's up on the desk. I mean, should be alright for now. Oh, except for there. Plop a torch down there. Okay, we should be a lot safer than usual. I'm going to put the stuff back and we're going to grab some materials. I figure I'd like to make it out of carbonite. But carbonite can be tricky to source. It's kind of like bricks, basically. Carbonite blend and that. When you want to make something out of bricks in terms of vanilla, it takes a lot more effort. Sorry, I had to remove my cat. He was getting up to no good. When it comes to vanilla and making bricks, it's a lot more time consuming, and the same as for the carbonite, but we kind of want carbonite blocks. We also probably want some ash stuff, which is easy enough to make. You just need stone plus any kind of ash. We could even use forestry ash if we want, obviously, but making embers ash is pretty easy. You don't actually need to do it like that. You can do it using ember. No, not double at. We want you. Yeah, cinder plinth. So a cinder plinth, as you can see, is fairly easy to make. Why don't we make the cinder plinth? Because that will allow us to get more materials for the crypt other than just carbonite. And then we can use ash stone, carbonite, and whatever else we can come up with to build this jolly thing. So let me just gather the bits and pieces that I need and I'll be right back. Okay, I have what I need for a cinder plinth. Now, let's get 8 of you, because we also need a furnace. And a carbonite brick. And we can make a cinder plinth. So, I can't remember if this needs to be powered or not. I don't think it does. But if I grab a stack of cobble, it can be literally anything that you can put in the cinder plinth. But you put it down and drop things into it. No. No, it wouldn't be that simple, would it? Might be a hopper. Might have to hopper things in. So let's make a hopper, which is easy enough because we have iron for once. And a chest. There is a manual for embers. I am doing things off memory. And the reason I'm doing things off memory is because we haven't fought a golem yet. At least I don't remember fighting a golem if we did. Yeah. So we hopper it in. It does need ember, looks like. So let's set that up. No issue there either. Just doing some silver up there. Which is why the rest of the system is also running. We need one of you, and we will also need a lever. We'll just use a basic lever rather than the carbonite lever at this point. Oh, I already have one. Haha, go figure. I didn't actually preempt that or anything, I just happened to have a lever on me. So, ember receptor. You can stick you here. Nah, actually, we'll stick it on the front because the emitter's going to have to go on the front of this. These setups can start looking pretty ugly at this point, but I think that's the point because it's trying to encourage you to do more with embers to get further in. Now start powering that. There we go. And we'll start producing ash now. Now you can collect the ash using a vacuum hopper, which we may as well make one right now. That also from embers. Item pipe in for lead ingots. I happen to have that stuff. Awesome. Item pipe. Do I only have fluid pipes left? Oh, you know what? I remember. Is that silver done? If the silver's done, I will just be able to change this over to a plate. Plate. One lead ingot. Oh, I could have just thrown the lead ore in there now that I think about it, because I need to process that anyway. So we'll melt at some point. There we go. Now we have lead plate. So I'm going to throw that in there, get that running, take my plate out of there, change you for ingot. Okay. Okay. Kaioken. Dragon Ball Z reference. I am good at reference. I am funny. Vacuum hopper. Now I actually do need another lever. Because a vacuum, everything in Embers needs a redstone signal, which is fair enough. I actually miss mods that don't need redstone signals. It would be nice if there was a redstone signal not needed state for the machines, but we can't have everything. Oh dear. I also need a container, because the vacuum hopper isn't itself a container. So, we have plenty of chests laying around. Put them to use. Right. And it can be literally anywhere, so why don't we just do it here? And stick a lever on it. And now it's going to suck all the ash into it. Except the one that was stuck behind the block. There we go. And now we're collecting ash in there, and it doesn't require power, and we can use the ash to make chiseled stone. Finally. Maybe this episode won't get around to actually building the crypt. This is me and my lack of pre-planning, really. But there you got to see the cinder plinth, so I'm not too annoyed at myself. I'm going to have a zombie jerky. And a baked potato. Good stuff. Also have some water. Because we thirsty, yo. And I'll probably get into making more better. That's not English. Drinks at some point. But for now we'll deal with that. So, what we have to do. Oh, finally. We're going to take this dirt, and the reason we're taking the dirt with us is because we're going to have to pick an area where we are going to put the crypt. Of course, the crypt is just the entrance. It's actually going to be below wherever we put the crypt. And the thing is, this hill is steep, so we're going to have to create a leveled out area for our crypt to sit on. And trust me, it'll look derpy at first with only one crypt there, but as we start adding crypts more and more have more and more leveled out areas with crypts on them, it'll start looking more and more awesome, basically. Even on these steeper sides. So, here's the other question. Which side do we want the main access to the necropolis? Like the main thoroughfare for the necropolis. We could have it coming from the village, but that's the easy choice because the village is already there, right? Or we could have it coming out this way. It's basically based on what we think is the best direction, what's the most scenic direction to look at this hill from. So why don't we come out here and take a look at this hill. and see what side, from what angle, I should probably sleep, it go. Alright. So, you know, nighttime is always bugging me in this game. I mean, game, look, I'll tell you when I want monsters, okay? You don't need to just drop monsters on me whenever you feel like it. Also, I should just turn that off because it's not needed right now. So we have this view, and I'm already starting to think maybe the village direction is the best one. Because I kind of don't like that shape of the hill from that angle. It's not as hill-esque or single-mounded as I would like to see. So it might be... This is kind of the angle you'd want, right? But the problem is, that's diagonal. No good. No good in Minecraft. You can pull some things off with that, but I wouldn't make the main road up a hill diagonal. I mean, really, it is this side, huh? Can't really see it through the buildings, but if we come around here, we might. Yeah, because the other thing is the path's gonna wind, right? Because no one walks up a big necropolis hill, or anything for that matter, or any hill for that matter, straight up, unless you have a car. Any kind of walking path, it's generally back and forth, so that it is not as hard on the walker. So I think this way, after all, is where we will have the main entrance up this hill. It's also kind of the steep side of the hill, which is fine, as I say. We can work with that quite easily, in fact. So, question is, where do we want this first crypt to go? Do we put it at the top of the hill? Do we put it somewhere in the middle? Do we put it at the bottom? Where do we put it? I need some more drinks. Which is why I came back down into the pit. Running up and down hills tends to tuck you out quite quickly. This is also where we'll need better drinks in the future, so that we're not always running back and forward to get more. So, if we're going to go this way, we're going to have to clear out these trees. That's fine. But, I mean, I'm kind of feeling it over here. I don't know why. Kind of feeling it over here. So, I reckon the crypt entrance, let's say it'll be 3 wide as the actual stairs down. Okay? So, I reckon we'll just do something along these lines. And then these 3, you can imagine, will be the stairs into the crypt. And yes, I know I've got dirt as a platform, but that's just so that we can start imagining things. And then we're going to have probably 2 either side, so 7. There's 7. Plus 1 more buffer. Okay. We can bring you out. And of course, we can terraform all we want. That's the nice thing about any of these builds. Never be scared to terraform. My only tip, really, is that you stick somewhat with the lay of the land. Like, you don't flatten things all the way out. A lot of people tend to do that. They'll flatten the whole thing all the way out. So they have this big flat area, and it kind of, it's just so artificial, in my opinion. Okay, so that's fine. And now here's the thing. If I was building something like that on a big steep hill, I would want a retaining wall. So we're going to go grab some cobble. It wouldn't just be a sheer cliff of dirt. That would be quite silly. The crypt would fall within a couple of years. Sink into the ground. So you'd need a retaining wall to hold all this up. That's exactly what we'll do. It's going to be our retaining wall. Like so. Might let this episode run a little long because it's been a bit derpy and all over the place. Plus I'm going to start having fun now. Since this is my wheelhouse. Right. Not that I haven't been having fun, by the way. Okay, and so you can kind of see how this is going to work out. And it doesn't actually look that bad. And we can pile up some more dirt around the edge. To make it look like, you know, it's not just... Now, these areas, you would either dig this out and put a cobble down, or you would put dirt over it. And the reason for that is because the foundation of a retaining wall isn't going to be dirt, and that would look very weird. So, no worries about me making that mistake. Oh, that's not where I wanted to put that. That's where I wanted to put that. Thank you. And, I think next episode too, by the way, if I remember to do it, we'll change up the texture pack. Because we've been using B00 for... Maybe I'll do it every 10 episodes, actually. So maybe it'll be a couple more, because I think this is episode 8. Off the top of my head. Yeah. See? Starting to look pretty cool. And all this is just a retaining wall. Good. We're mostly good. And we'll dig out these ones. And we'll run the retaining wall here more. Even run it some under here. Keep it going. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. And here too. And I want this to be a little more uneven than it is. It's quite stair-esque right now. And then we'll do a thing where we just take out random bits up here and fill them with cobble. Okay? Because that will give it a more haphazard look. Because it's not a perfect retaining wall. It's not one that you would make with modern machines and stuff like that. It's kind of one that's built by hand. Even want to take that off so it's not so sheer. Yeah. I might want to put some cobble here. I think the better answer would be more dirt. Have it run down a bit more. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. And I think that will do for the base of the crypt. And just as simple as that, we've made this blend in to a nice big steep hill in Minecraft. And not a lot of stress or anguish went into it. Do I have an axe? I don't appear to still have an axe. No, I have 2 shovels, however. Let me get that shovel out of here. Actually, which shovel do I want? You can go there. Need an axe because we need to cut down some trees and do some terraforming in the other direction. Because we kind of do want a little flat, square platform where we're going to stick our crypt, right? There we go. Finally allowed to sleep. Okie dokie. So we've got this big ugly birch to get rid of. Shouldn't take long. I love it when Minecraft added that, finally. The ability to jump and break something. It used to be the moment you stopped touching a block, it would reset. But now, we finally are able to jump so we can get rid of things like logs if we're feeling lazy. So all we are planning to do here is make sure that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 the crypt has enough room to fit in here. Plus 1 because we like to be able to move around things. But if it feels a little cramped in here, it's perfectly fine. It's meant to. It's on a freaking hill. Great. And then let's say the stairs down begin here. And even dig out some more of the dirt so that we can visualize that. Duck under here, so just one more. Break you. And of course, all in here is going to be changed as well. Like, I've got this dirt and grass and stuff here, but that's quickly going to be changed. And so that's going to be our stairway in. And so then we're going to have like a double thick wall. We're not necessarily actually going to use all of this because we're going to be implementing a lot of chisels and bits. So we just need basically at this point a facade of a box. And I think this here ash is going to come in handy. I don't want to use dirt. I need to put some more in that cinder plinth. I think I might be out of ember as well. Excuse me? There we go. Storage drawers has been a bit weird lately. I've noticed that in 1.10 as well. Somehow it should turn these off if they're done. And put some more ember shards in there. Because this thing in particular will keep burning ember. Even if you don't need it. So I'm being kind of wasteful by leaving it on a lot. Oh, the extra lead ingots got picked up. Handy. Very handy. Okay, great. So we're going to need this ash. And we're going to need to start cooking up some cobblestone to make normal stone. I'm also going to start cooking up the rest of that carbonite blend that I have. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, because that will allow me to use a full 64 of ash. Did that put that in? Oh, okay. For some reason I thought that put that in the fuel slot. Fortunately, incorrect. Get enough coal. Wonder if I actually have enough coal for what I'm planning to do. I mean, I think I definitely do, but I'm running low is the worry. And we have 5 left over. Okay, we may as well make that. One coal. And 1 wasted coal. Sort of. There we go. But all of them are fired on so that we can make some stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, we have enough to experiment with designs and stuff here. As you can see, it's the brick problem. You need 4 times as much to make anything. So we can make ashen brick, and we can also make this really cool tile stuff. Where's my item zoom? That's what I want to know. Ashen. Shift C, Alt C, Shift C. There we go. This is why I have item zoom, because when things are this tiny and the contrast on the colors is that similar, you want to be able to zoom in to see them. That's the one we want. So how do we make ashen tile? Ashen tile is 4 ashen brick. Okay, so make some ashen tile. I guess I'll make like 12 and see how we go from there. Alright. So, if I was a crypt, what would I want to look like? Good question. I think ashen tile makes a really good floor. Can we make you into stairs? We can. I really need a crafting table out here. Let me go sort that out. Okay. So, stairs. Yeah. I think what would also be nice here is Carbonite stairs down the middle, a middle stripe of Carbonite stairs to contrast with that. But then like either side we have some Carbonite there and there. And see, everything has to be done sparingly at the moment because I just don't have the Carbonite. And I'm not about to run off and make some more, unfortunately, because we're quite close to wrapping up. But should give us a good idea of what I'm going for. So we'd come into here. Well, I'm almost wanting to make this line here a ring of Carbonite. Now there's also, I think this stuff might be out of our reach though. This stuff, archaic brick. Yeah, you have to make it with alchemy, which we haven't reached yet. You can also get it from killing golems, but not in any kind of sustainable amount. So, there may be a situation where we put like a placeholder there that looks kind of close to archaic tile, and fill it in later once we actually have access to it. But I do want to include archaic tile in this build. In fact, I think the outside facade along this edge here would probably look fantastic with archaic tile. So there may be a situation, as much as I want to do the building on this, I might have to admit that I don't have enough materials that I want to build it, and have to actually like start working on the internals of this beast and work towards alchemy so that we can actually start to include things like the archaic tile. Yeah, okay. I know this episode's kind of been a little bit over the place, but why don't we next episode work on a couple more infrastructure things? Because I'm starting to realize I'm not quite where I want to be with that stuff, and then we will then get on with building. I kind of want to work on this building That's why. We could work on another building. We could work on a BWM crypt or something like that. But I'm pretty singularly focused when I get into these things. So I like to do what I have in my mind's eye before I move on to something else. So with that, I think thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.